Oh, Chelsea don't look like much top this year. We should be fine. Oh, here's John. Here's John. Hi, John. Let me guess. We can't afford to lose. We want to win the quadruple, all that stuff. Don't worry. I've got it sorted. Chelsea are absolute garbage this year. We are going to thrash them. Don't worry.
Good to hear. What's happening transfer-wise?
Yep, we've got someone lined up. We've already put a bid in for Fulham out of Nice. He should be joining us hopefully before deadline day or on it just to strengthen that defensive midfield position. And otherwise, we should be good for the rest of the year as long as we don't get any more injuries.
Yeah, it's almost like Jurgen was still in charge.
Yeah, because we've got a few at the moment, don't we?
Oh well, sounds like you have a plan sorted.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to get preparing for this Chelsea game still because I just want to make sure that I'm sure they won't beat us, but just want to make sure that I cover off all bases and we'll make an EFL Cup final. Everyone and welcome to episode 11 of Quadruple or Nothing with Liverpool on the FM23 Beta here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we take on Chelsea over 2 legs in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Also we take on Crystal Palace in the 4th round of the FA Cup in between those 2 legs, and as well as that a bit of a domestic recap, and also we'll do a little bit of coverage from transfer deadline day where hopefully we get our man from Nice across the line as a new defensive midfielder here at Liverpool. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well so you do not miss out on any of the FM23 content on the channel. But we've played a few games off the back of the quarterfinal against West Ham in yesterday's episode. If you did miss that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. A quick bit of transfer news as well off the back of that episode. Declan Rice indeed has gone to Paris Saint-Germain for £85 million, in case you were wondering, and that of course does impact us slightly in terms of what we have done in the transfer window a few days prior to deadline day. But first things first, highlights from the 3 Premier League games we have played off the back of yesterday's episode. And we started off taking on today's opposition at Stamford Bridge. We're off to a good start in this one. 16 minutes gone. Jude Bellingham, some good short passing, and Thiago finds his way into the bottom left corner with that shot, and we do grab an early 1-0 lead there at the Bridge. And then a few minutes before half-time, Thiago with a lovely flick on header there for Darwin Núñez continues his great goal-scoring form in the save and makes it 2-0. And then right off the back of the restart, we pretty much put this game to bed. You would have thought so anyway. Luis Diaz making it 3-0 with still around 45 minutes left, albeit then, as you can probably tell by the scoreline, Chelsea did come back. Free kick here a few minutes later. Aubameyang down to Kovacic. Becker gets his hands onto that one, but can't quite keep it out of the back of the net. And then with 15 minutes to go, Joe Gomez gives away a penalty, which Jorginho puts away in the back of the net. So that game ended up being a little bit closer than it needed to be, but thankfully we pick up a 3-2 win. Hopefully we do things a little bit more comfortably against them over the 2 legs of today's EFL Cup semi-final. Off the back of that one, I did say we'd show you guys highlights from most of the games, but this next one was solely decided on 1 penalty to either team, and thankfully we put ours away in the 57th minute through Darwin Núñez. We rested some of our better players for this game, the likes of Mo Salah, and thankfully with 3 minutes to go we did give away a penalty. Aston Villa did get the chance there to take some points off us, but our former man Felipe Coutinho, the secret agent man, his shot got saved by Alisson. Big save there from the Brazilian international, and we pick up a pretty scrappy 1-0 win there at Aston Villa, albeit with a little bit of rotation. Do not mind that 3 points at all. And off the back of that, we took on Manchester United at Anfield in our next game. Big derby game, looking to beat them for the 2nd time this season. And thankfully, despite the fact that at this stage they had Diego Simeone in charge of them, it was still one-way traffic, and it was the Mo Salah show in this one. A bit fortunate with that goal. Deflected off Luis Diaz, that initial shot, and he puts it away somehow. Was not offside. Then a couple of minutes later, we got a penalty which he put away in the bottom left corner. 2-0 at half-time, and for most of the game. And then with a few minutes left, he completed a hat-trick. Lovely 1-2 there between him, and I believe that was James Milner. Indeed, it was the case. And Mo Salah hat-trick is enough to give us a 3-0 win there against Diego Simeone's Manchester United. So obviously 3 good results there in the Premier League, and that does mean we are still on top of the table these days. 13 points clear of Arsenal, albeit they have a game in hand. I think they are starting to get ready for some Europa League business, so that might be why they have an extra game left to play compared to what we have here at Liverpool, but still in a very strong position in terms of the Premier League table, especially compared to today's opposition in Chelsea, who have moved up the table a little bit off the back of yesterday's episode, but still a long way away from being inside those European places, down in 15th spot with 21 points. And of course, as we discovered yesterday, with Marcelo Bielsa in charge these days. But a few other things we do need to cover off before we get started with the gameplay. In today's episode, the transfer window is about to close, and as suggested in yesterday's episode, we have put in a bid for Kefren Fulham from Nice. It's going to cost us £21 million up front, £26 million overall. He's not on that big of a wage, around about £30,000 a week, and he will be in to be a backup defensive midfielder, especially until Jordan Henderson does recover from that injury. So that is what we are going to use the money that the board did give us in yesterday's episode on, just to strengthen that midfield with the injuries that we do currently have here at Liverpool. As you can see, his asking price did go up a little bit from what we thought it would be in yesterday's episode, but we were still able to afford it, and Kefren Fulham should be joining us hopefully prior to transfer deadline day or on it, and can be probably the last addition to our squad for this save, just strengthen that midfield area to try and push on and grab the quadruple. But going over to the tactics screen, you will see we've got quite a few injury concerns here off the back of yesterday's episode in this Liverpool team at the moment. Jordan Henderson, of course, we know about him, still out for 4 to 7 more weeks with his hip injury. Also, Virgil van Dijk at the moment is away on holiday. He's been quite tired ever since coming back from the World Cup. Hopefully this holiday will deal with it. I think we can get through the next couple of games. He should be back for the second leg. But Chelsea and Crystal Palace in our next few games, I think we should be fine without him for those ones. Also for this upcoming first league, Fabinho is suspended for picking up too many yellow cards in this competition so far, and Costa Tsimikas has also picked up an injury since you were last here. He has a calf strain. He is going to be out for 5 days to 3 weeks. We are definitely battling a few injuries in the squad at the moment, but for the first league, we are going to be putting out a fairly strong lineup, apart from the fact that at centre back we have Nathan Phillips alongside Ibrahima Konate, also James Milner as the defensive midfielder, of course, with Fabinho being out, and of course Jordan Henderson still being injured, and also Curtis Jones in there for Thiago, who at the moment is on a heavy workload and is quite highly prone to an injury. We'll definitely play things safe with him, but apart from that, we are full strength for this first leg, and we'll come back shortly and hopefully be able to take a lead into the second leg. And we are at Wembley as well, so we'll come back shortly for the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final against Chelsea. And of course, we do have TV coverage for the Carabao Cup. There, Chelsea's team looks pretty strong going into this one, obviously with where they are on the Premier League table. This might be one of the few trophies they do have a chance of winning this year, and there we are, as we ran through before, hopefully pick up a good result to take into that second leg. And it doesn't take long for us to get our first highlight in this first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. It is a throw into Chelsea, albeit deep inside their own half. Kante is on the ball. We'll play that back for Thiago Silva, and they try and play their way out of the back here to the Blues in front of Wembley, albeit Azpilicueta gives that ball straight to Mo Salah, who starts to make his way forward down the right-hand side. They cleared it away, but Andy Robertson is there to tidy things up, and a good early chance for us here inside the Chelsea half as we do start to camp inside there. James Milner pings that one out to Curtis Jones. Hopefully those guys can do a good job for us here against the team who in the Premier League anyway are struggling quite a bit. Now Alexander-Arnold, nice ball there for Mo Salah. He will chip Edouard Mendy. He picks up his 20th goal of the season, and it's a dream start for us here in front of Wembley. We pick up a 1-0 lead only 9 minutes into the first leg of the semi-final. Some good build-up play there off the back of getting the ball off of Azpilicueta. Of course, that was Mo Salah who did get the ball for us there, and lovely chip from a very tight angle gives us an early 1-0 lead. And just past the 20-minute mark, we have our next highlight of this game. It is Chelsea yet again looking to play out from the back, off the back of a goal kick. They pump this deep, and it is Alexander-Arnold who wins that in the air, albeit only heads that out to the former Liverpool and Man City man in Raheem Sterling. Nice ball out there though for Mason Mount. Now Trent is on the ball. For some reason, doesn't clear it. They find Havertz unmarked inside the box, and they grab an equaliser here. Do Chelsea, and are certainly right back in this game at 1-1. A little bit poor there from Trent. Did well to get the ball back, but for some reason did not opt to hoof it clear. Just stands there on the ball, and it is Mason Mount who pinches it off him, and Kai Havertz just with a simple finish there, and he makes it 1-1 halfway through the first half of the first leg. And 10 minutes shy of half time, we have our next highlight. Some big news that has happened off the back of that Chelsea equaliser. Reece James is off with an injury, so that is not going to help them for the remainder of this tie, and also their Premier League campaign as well, if that is a serious injury. Now, Jude Bellingham, I think that was there, a little bit lazy on the ball, and it is Chelsea who get possession back here inside our half. So off the back of that opening goal, things have just gone a little bit down for us here, and Kovacic gets in behind. It's from a tight angle, but he beats Alisson, and Chelsea surprisingly take a 2-1 lead here at Wembley in the first leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final. And defensively, we're looking a little bit average today. Trent Alexander-Arnold with that yellow card he's picked up. I think he's going to be suspended for the second leg as well, so that's something we need to keep in mind. But Kovacic there gets through our defence far too easily, and that makes it 2-1 Chelsea with less than 10 minutes left in the first half of this first leg. And there is one more highlight. Alexander-Arnold heads that one to Milner. Back to Joe Gomez, and now he lets Havertz take the ball. Good chance there for him. Thankfully, blazes that over the top of the bar, but a rough end here to this first half as we are 2-1 down. And that is half time here in the first leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final. Great start, but from there, Chelsea definitely built up some good momentum late in that first half, grabbed a 2-1 lead. We're going to make one change here at half time, despite the fact he's on the higher rating of our centre-backs. What I think we're going to do here is take off Joe Gomez for Joel Matip. I think Kanate these days, probably our second choice centre-back, and behind Virgil van Dijk, and from there we'll see how we start the second half if we need to make any more substitutions. But a disappointing first half here. We'll tell the boys we need to play a lot better, give them a bit of a rack up, and hopefully get this back to parity going into that second leg. We kick off the second half down 2-1. And 5 minutes into the second half, we have our first highlight is a free kick in our favour. Kanate pumps that to Andy Robertson. He finds Alexander-Arnold, and we take our time here a little bit to play out from the back, and hopefully can find an equaliser sooner rather than later off the back of how Chelsea did finish that first half. Certainly picked up a lot of momentum in the latter stages there right before half time, grabbing that 2-1 lead after going 1-0 down early, as Kanate will find Curtis Jones, plays that out to Andy Robertson, and now Luis Diaz. Nice ball over the top there for Darwin Núñez. Lovely controlled touch, puts that away in the top right corner. We are going to have to wait here though for a VAR check, but I think he might have timed his run there nicely, and indeed that was the case. The goal has been awarded, and that is exactly the response that we were after here off the back of how we did finish that first half. Darwin, I think he is just onside there. Lovely finish to put that away in the top right corner. We'll see if we get VAR here to show us the lines. Indeed we do. Luis Diaz, nice ball over the top. He is just onside. Well-timed run, and Darwin makes it 2-2 here early in the second half. And only a couple of minutes off the back of that equaliser, it is Kante here trying to get Chelsea on the counter-attack, but James Milner, despite being on a yellow card, does some great defensive work there, and now Curtis Jones plays the ball up to Darwin Núñez. Unfortunately though, Fofana gets the ball off of him, and Chelsea get a chance here to play out from the back, albeit with our high pressing. They are struggling just a little bit until they play that ball out to Cesar Azpilicueta, and he starts to make his way quite fastly down this left-hand side, plays the ball in there for Trent. Bit of a loose first touch, but thankfully Andy Robertson does clear that one away, but Raheem Sterling plays this one in for Kovacic. Good challenge there though from Curtis Jones to get the ball back. A little bit scary though, because it did look like one of those fouls which could potentially be a penalty. Bad missed header there though from Fofana for Chelsea, and Darwin Núñez grabs his second goal of the game, his 24th of the season. He is turning out to be a fantastic signing in this game anyway for Jurgen Klopp, and that makes it 3-2 here. And quite soon after half-time, we have turned around that one-goal deficit. Big mistake there from Wesley Fofana, and Darwin Núñez makes it 3-2 Liverpool. And just about to enter the last 20 minutes of this game, still with our 3-2 lead, we're going to make a couple of substitutions at this time with players down on red hearts. The first of those two come off is going to be Jude Bellingham. Coming on for him will be Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Also, I think what we're going to do here is take off both of our wingers. So Mo Salah will come off for Harvey Elliott, and also Diogo Jota is going to come on for Luis Diaz, with both of those players being on yellow cards. Darwin Núñez will leave on with him being on a hat-trick, and we'll get things back underway. Still 3-2 up here with 20 minutes left. And not long left in this one now. It is a corner in our favour, which Trent is going to put into the mixer. Can't quite pick out Kanate, but James Milner is there to tidy things up. Alexander-Arnold, though, does lose possession to Kovacic. Chelsea forced into yet another potential injury change before, as now it is Raheem Sterling who has gone off with a serious injury. So they are suffering a few casualties in this game. That's a poor clearance from us, though. And Bloja makes his way inside the box, but Alisson Becker, good tip over the bar there. And we hold on to our 3-2 lead. We are going to see a corner here, though, to Chelsea, which Pulisic is going to put into the mixer. But thankfully, Diogo Jota is there to clear that away. And we are about to enter the last few minutes of this game. Time for us to make one more substitution. And I think with the players who are out there on yellow cards who won't be featuring in the next league anyway, Thiago can come on for Curtis Jones for the last few minutes of this one, as we do still hold that 3-2 lead. And we have 5 minutes of injury time in this one. And there is a highlight just as we start that, a throw in inside the final third, and Chamberlain gets that ball for us there. Good header down for Kanate. It's a long shot, takes a big old deflection. I think that might have been off of Fofana, who is having an absolute horrid game out there now. And that is a nice timing for a cushion goal right before we get into that second leg. And we come back from being 2-1 down at half-time, and Ibrahima Kanate makes it 4-2 Liverpool. It's a good strike, albeit I think that was going straight into the path of Mendy until Fofana got in the way, and it's a bit of a fortunate goal, but we'll take it there. No doubt Kanate will claim that one, as we do have a late highlight in this one, as Darwin Núñez does get the ball back for us. Nice ball over the top there for Harvey Elliott, albeit tight angle, and unfortunately can't do much with that one, although Chamberlain, good chance there, but does come off the underside of the crossbar. And in the end, that highlight didn't actually amount to much off the back of that initial chance, which we did have to potentially make it 5-2, but a good comeback there in the second half. And we pick up a 4-2 win to take into that second leg, which I also think is actually going to be played at Wembley as well. But that's a very good comeback there. 2 second half goals to Darwin Núñez, as well as that strike from Ibrahima Kanate that will give us a 4-2 lead. We'll come back shortly and update you guys on the 4th round of the FA Cup against Crystal Palace, as well as if we sign Fulham like we were expecting to on deadline day, before we take on Chelsea yet again in the second leg with a 4-2 lead. And we are back on transfer deadline day. Just quick stopping before we do take part in that second leg against Chelsea with that 4-2 lead. But first things first, the FA Cup, we picked up a fairly comfortable 3-1 win there against Crystal Palace, especially because, as you can see, we did rotate our team quite heavily before that second leg against Chelsea. We could have won that game by a bit more too, Fabinho with a missed penalty there 10 minutes in, but we are going to show you guys one goal, an absolute cracker from Harvey Elliott before half-time to make it 3-0. Came off the back of a counter-attack. Some good work there from Andrew Robertson to keep the ball, puts the ball in there for Elliott on the edge of the box, one touch, and fires that into the bottom left corner. A really good goal, that one, which did give us a 3-0 lead, and that pretty much put that game to bed, picking up a 3-1 win to make our way through to the next round of the FA Cup, as you would expect, obviously, off the back of that previous 12-0 win that we did pick up against Crystal Palace. These days, Alan Pardew in charge of Crystal Palace, but we have had the draw for the next round of that competition at the start of March. We take on Burnley, so that should again, even though it is at Turf Moor, you would like to think be another win, and hopefully we can go deep into that competition as well. But we are back on transfer deadline day because we have made a signing, as we suspected. Keflin Thuram has joined the club, 21 million up front and another 5 million in add-ons. He is now here at Liverpool. This is what he looks like. Decent defensive midfielder, and we'll start to integrate him into the team over the next couple of games. But that is probably the only business that we are going to do on transfer deadline day. Don't think we are going to sell anyone, because we do still need the squad depth, especially with our injuries at the moment, and that is most of our transfer budget gone on that one player. So we'll come back shortly with the team sheets for that second leg with that 4-2 lead in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Chelsea. And here are the team sheets for the second leg. In terms of us, our back four is completely different to what we were planning. Of course, yellow cards and suspensions playing a factor in that. And also, Both of our wingers are on yellow cards. That does mean that Harvey Elliott starts out on the right and Diogo Jota out on the left, but hopefully that will be okay as we start things off with a 4-2 lead. And just shy of the 20-minute mark here, we have our first highlight of the second leg. Darwin Núñez puts that ball right back into the mixer, and Chelsea do clear their lines there, so a decent early chance for us to just bundle that one over the line, but it looks like it is going to remain 0-0 here, albeit Jude Bellingham starts to make his way down this right-hand side. Can he put a ball into the mixer? We'll play that one back to Joe Gomez. Good 1-2 far post there for Diogo Jota, and puts that away in the bottom right corner. Will it stand though? We are going to have to wait for a VAR check for offside, but we might have got off to a good start here despite all of the rotation we have done for this game. And indeed, the goal is going to stand, and that now gives us a nice free goal cushion in this overall tie. Nice ball there from Joe Gomez in for Bellingham, and Diogo Jota puts that away nicely into the bottom right corner, and that makes it 5-2 on aggregate. And just entering the last 10 minutes of this first half, we are back down the Chelsea end here with a throw, and Thiago finds himself in a lot of space, plays a lovely ball in there for Harvey Elliott, bumps that into the top right corner. He has picked up a yellow card alongside of Fabinho, but thankfully all the players in this game, if they pick up a yellow card, it shouldn't impact the final at all. But unfortunately, Harvey Elliott there was offside. In fact, someone apparently was blocking the keeper in an offside position, albeit from that angle. Not too sure about that call, but nonetheless, it stays at 1-0, 10 minutes shy of half-time, but we do still have our 5-2 lead on aggregate. And off the back of that somewhat controversial disallowed goal, Chelsea do have a chance to clear their lines, albeit Joe Gomez gets possession back for us there off the back of that long ball forward. And now Fabinho starts to try and get us back into the Chelsea half. Ibrahima Konate plays this one over for James Milner today, playing as a left back, of course, with that injury to Kostas Tsimikas. Lovely work there to let that ball run through to Jude Bellingham, and he picks up another goal, and that will make it 2-0 on the day. And surely that will be this tie done and dusted just shy of half-time in the second leg, as we are now up by a scoreline of 6-2. Darwin Núñez there gets somewhat fouled from Thiago, but that actually ends up working well. The ball runs through nicely for Jude Bellingham to put that in the top right corner. 2-0 up on the day, 6-2 up on aggregate. And that is half-time in the second leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final. We are now in a very, very comfortable position off the back of first half goals to Diogo Jota and to Jude Bellingham, up by 4 goals on aggregate, and absolutely dominating this second leg as well. So we'll tell the boys they are doing very well and get things back underway with a 4-goal lead. And in fact, we have a highlight immediately from the restart here for the second half. No substitutions needed just yet. A lot of these players can stay out there as they are not in suspension trouble for the final, even if they do pick up a yellow card. But we get on the attack here potentially nice and early. James Milner holds up the ball there, plays that one back to Ibrahima Konate and Matip as we start to camp our way into the Chelsea half to start off the second half. And Joe Gomez finds himself in a lot of space down that right-hand side, plays that one in for Bellingham. Thiago gets a shot off, and that one will count off the back of a chance, which he did create earlier, where the goal did get ruled out for Harvey Elliott. But that is a brilliant start here to the second half, and now surely that is the game done and dusted as we make it 3-0 in the second leg, 7-2 on aggregate. Some good position there off the back of the restart, and Thiago puts that one away in the bottom right corner to make it 3-0 Liverpool.
Yeah.
And for the first time in the save on camera, we have got the Mark Richardson out, and that is because there could potentially be a big injury for the long-term save here, and that is Jude Bellingham has picked up a red injury. We have to take him off. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will come on for him, hopefully. Not too serious, but we need to check on that off the back of this one finishing. And about 8 minutes off the back of that potentially serious injury to Jude Bellingham, certainly sweating over that now, seeing as this game does look like it is more or less wrapped up. We do have a highlight here, and we are in position near enough to the halfway line, and Chamberlain, who of course did come on for Jude Bellingham, is in position here right on the halfway line, starts to make his way forward, albeit Kovacic. Good work there to get the ball off him, but thankfully the pass is a little bit too much on it. But then Fabinho with a loose pass and gives the ball straight back to Chelsea. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz here finds himself in a lot of space, and Alisson there does get beaten at his far side, and Chelsea do grab a goal back, albeit not too sure how much it's going to impact things, as we might actually make a substitution there at right back. Gomez has picked up a little niggly injury, so Calvin Ramsey can come on for him, but Chelsea do grab a goal back, albeit we are still 7-3 up on aggregate. And we're about to enter the last 20 minutes of this game in a very comfortable position, but these days Diogo Jota is down to a red heart. I think we're actually going to bring on Roberto Firmino to get some game time here for the last 20 minutes of this one. Still up 7-3 on aggregate. And we are definitely making our way through to the final of the Carabao Cup. 7-3 up here against Chelsea as we do enter 4 minutes of added time in the second leg. But a good performance here, especially without players like Mo Salah and Luis Diaz, who were on yellow cards. So we did just want to make sure that they didn't pick any up here in the second leg. So they would be available to play in the final. But we are back on the attack here through Harvey Elliott, albeit the ball does get dispossessed from him there after he dribbles into the heel of a Chelsea defender. Chelsea pumped that one deep, and James Milner is there to tidy things up. But we are inside the last 2 minutes. Going to be interesting to see who we do take on in the final, because that other tie is actually being played a week off the back of our game, so it is a bit hard to know who we might be facing in that one. Good chance there for Darwin Núñez off the back of robbing Chelsea of the ball inside their final third themselves, but thankfully, or at least for them, a good save there from Mendy, and now Fofana tries to get something going down the other end, but a good slide tackle there from Fabinho, thankfully not a foul, and I think we're just going to see a little bit of action here to finish off this game. A lot of our players have picked up yellow cards, but as I said, thankfully, none of them will be suspended for that final, and I think this is just going to be a bit of a meaningless highlight to finish this game off, as we do have a 3-1 lead and are 7-3 up on aggregate. So a good performance over the two legs, especially the second half of that first leg off the back of being 2-1 down at halftime. That was a good comeback and put us in a good position going into the second leg. It was actually quite an even game, apart from the fact that we had quite a few more shots on target and we pick up fairly comfortable wins in both legs, and we'll make our way through to the Carabao Cup final off the back of a 7-3 win on aggregate. And back in the inbox off the back of those two games in today's episode, we make our way through to the final of the EFL Cup quite convincingly in the end. A quick update on what's happening on the other side of the draw, because we won't actually find out who we are playing in that final until we come back for the next episode, because they are only halfway through that tie and the next leg of it is played a week off the back of this game. But at the moment, Arsenal in quite a strong position there, albeit only up by 1 goal, so not sure if it's that strong, but they currently lead that tie 2-1, so potentially could be a top of the table clash in that EFL Cup final. But back to the inbox, because we do have to check on those potential injuries to both Jude Bellingham and to Joe Gomez, and it's a big one for Jude Bellingham. He is out with sprained knee ligaments, albeit only 5 to 6 weeks. It certainly could have been worse, but still, it's not great either, and that does mean that the Ox at the moment is probably going to have to be our first choice box-to-box midfielder. So that is a big injury, albeit hopefully he will be sitting out quite a few easier games for us in this next little patch that we do have in the Premier League. And thankfully, Joe Gomez, his injury, not too bad, out with a twisted knee. He'll only be missing for around about a week, but that could impact us a little bit there, that injury to Jude Bellingham especially, while Jordan Henderson is also out, as he could provide a little bit of extra cover in that box-to-box midfield role. But that will do it for today's episode, ending on a little bit of a downer, albeit we make our way through to our first final of the save, and I think that's going to be coming up in the next episode as well. As you can see, our next stretch up until the first leg of that Champions League round of 16 tie does look quite kind, taking on Leicester, Brentford, Crystal Palace and Brighton. And I think what we're going to do for the next episode is come back and play 2 games. The first leg away against Inter Milan in that Champions League round of 16, and also we'll come back for that EFL Cup final, which could be against Arsenal, and in between those games, a massive Premier League one as well, which we'll show you guys highlights of, as it could be a top of the table clash. But if you did enjoy today's episode, making our way through to that EFL Cup final over Chelsea, and also the signing of Keftem Tulam from Nice, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow for the Champions League round of 16 and also the EFL Cup final against one of Arsenal or Manchester City, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.